New poll was just released on the current state of America's healthcare system. Take a look at this. 4 million lost health insurance in the last 2 years. 4 million. So here are the specifics. This is from The Hill. About 4 million Americans lost health insurance in the last 2 years, according to a new survey from the Commonwealth Fund, which attributed the decline to actions taken by the Trump administration. The uninsured rate was up significantly compared with 2016 among adults with an individual income of about $30,000 and a family income of about $61,000. Additionally, people who identified as Republican also had significantly higher uninsured rates. The uninsured rate among Republicans rose from 7.9% in 2016 to 13.9%, in the current survey period, which was conducted between February and March of 2018. The uninsured rate among those who identify as Democrats stood at 9.1%, statistically unchanged from 2016. So, what's interesting is that Donald Trump is not wrong and he's not lying when he says he basically gutted Obamacare. He just did it through a series of executive orders, for example. Also, in his tax bill was a provision that got rid of the individual mandate, which is basically viewed as like the glue that holds together Obamacare. So because of it's a direct result of the actions he's taken on the issue of healthcare that has led to originally what I thought was, what was the old number? I think 1 million people who lost healthcare under him. Well, now they're saying it's closer to 4 million people. They are saying that this is over the last 2 years, so you can't pin all of it on Donald Trump. During the end of Obama's time in office, there apparently was an uptick as well of people losing their insurance. But listen, yet again, this points to the same conclusion that we have to bring up every time we discuss the issue of healthcare, which is Medicare for all is the answer. I saw Chuck Schumer yesterday on Twitter, and I guess he was responding to this news, and he was saying how, they're taking actions that are detrimental to the American people and their health insurance needs, and we should be working to strengthen Obamacare instead of working to destroy Obamacare, and blah, 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 blah. And I tweeted back at him and said, Chucky, push Medicare for all or shut off. Because your bullshit half measure, Obamacare, which is an individual mandate system which keeps the private health insurance companies in control, you're never going to get that to have the same level of popularity as a Medicare for all system would have. Because it still leaves people uninsured. And again, still the root of the problem is there, which is the for-profit health insurance companies. And of course, they have to try to maximize profits however they possibly can. And usually the way they do that is to deny care as much as possible because that's how they make more money. So instead of putting a Band-Aid over a gaping gangrenous wound, which is exactly what the Democrats did, and instead of having to defend that system, which is majority unpopular, by the way, it always oscillates back and forth around 50%, but at times it's, 53% are against Obamacare, at times 53% are for Obamacare. But instead of defending a mealy-mouthed system that has really ultimately left many people behind, you have to push for something. You have to push for a solution to fix everybody's various healthcare issues. And the answer is Medicare for all. So with the current system, you have one party which is actively trying to hurt you. That would be the Republicans. They're not even okay with the proposal that used to be their proposal. That's what Obamacare is. The individual mandate system was originally proposed by the Heritage Foundation. And actually, before that, it was a Richard Nixon proposal. The Republican position has now moved to leave everything exactly as it is or actively push us in the wrong direction to go more towards a free market solution, a capitalist solution, which of course is a non-solution and will only exacerbate the problems. So that's their solution. Do nothing. As Alan Grayson once famously said, don't get sick, and if you get sick, die quickly. That's their plan. And the Democratic plan is to continue to put ointment on a Band-Aid and then put it over a gaping gangrenous wound, which is, the individual mandate system and the Obamacare style systems. So if I was a Democratic strategist or if I was a Democratic politician, number one, I would never shut the fuck up about this fact. I would absolutely drill this, laser this into the minds of the American people to the point where they can regurgitate it back to me like that, where we say, hey, 4 million people just lost their health insurance. 4 million people just lost their health insurance. 4 million people just lost their health insurance. Largely because of executive orders and actions taken by this administration and this Republican Congress. So blame Trump. 4 million people lost their health insurance. Blame Trump. 4 million people lost their health insurance. Blame Trump. I would repeat that over and over and over. And then the second part of that is, we're in favor of Medicare for all, which covers everybody. We're in favor of Medicare for all, which not only covers everybody, but also will cut your costs about in half, because we pay about double what other modern nations pay, and they cover everybody. We have millions of people who are uninsured, about 20 million people who are uninsured, never mind the 45,000 people who die every year because they don't have access to basic health care. So this is the kind of stuff that should be replacing the nonstop Stormy Daniels coverage, the Russia coverage, the, oh my goodness, there's high turnover in his administration coverage. All that stuff, they're fucking side points at best. They're not real core issues that win you elections and that get people to rally to your side. If you want to get people to rally to your side, diagnose real problems out there. Here's one: 4 million people just lost their health insurance, and then propose real solutions. But of course, you're not going to get that in our broken system. And of course, the media is not going to do what their job is. They should be focusing on stuff like this. The other day, I saw Anderson Cooper did a long segment where he spoke about the questions that leaked that Robert Mueller is allegedly maybe going to ask Donald Trump if Robert Mueller were to talk to Donald Trump. Speculation on top of speculation. And that's the kind of shit that CNN is sniffing their own farts and talking to you guys about. Replace all of the coverage. Every time they mention Robert Mueller, imagine instead of that, they mentioned 4 million people losing health insurance. That would be a media that's doing the job that they're supposed to do. So shame on the media, shame on the Democrats for not talking about this problem and then saying, hey, Medicare for all is the answer. And, I said it before, I'll say it again. If you want to have a Democratic wave, there's an easy way to do it. Talk about real problems, talk about real solutions, and hammer it home. But needless to say, we're not at that place right now, and the last people on earth that would listen to my advice, which, by the way, would 100% help them, and they'd win if they listen to my advice, is the Democratic Party.